Hi, this is Digital Beersborn. Put your sweatpants on. It's time for more AP Art history. We're looking at the indigenous Americas. And this week, we're going to focus on the states of Washington and Oregon and the entire Pacific Northwest area by looking at this piece, the Kwakwaka'wakw transformation mask. Now that name is spelled Kwakwaka'wakw, and it's pronounced Kwakwaka'wakw. Let's start by talking about the content. The subject matter of this work is an eagle head. We can see the beak over here hooking on the left, the eagle's eye in the center, and feathers on the top. You might also notice that on the right side, we see a mechanism. There's wooden levers with rope running through it. The wearer can pull on this rope to cause the mask to transform, to reveal on the inside a human figure. This human figure is a depiction of a specific deity known as Kwakwaka'wakw. Not a name that I would worry about memorizing, but I would know that it's a depiction of a deity within the Kwakwaka'wakw culture. The belief is that the deity was a giant eagle that could cause thunder by beating its giant eagle wings, but could also remove its eagle skin to transform into a human at will. There's a number of these transformation masks. Most of them depict deities that have the ability to transform between animal figures and human figures. There are also transformation masks that allow the figure to transform between young and old, as well as masks that don't specifically transform, but are able to animate, like this mask depicting a giant whale. The wearer can pull on the ropes to make the mouth close, to make the fin and the tail move, to emulate the movement of a whale in nature. The function of these masks, they're worn by the Kwakwaka'wakw people in specific rituals. They're performed during dances. Like this, for example. Now, these masks in that video did not specifically transform like the mask we see here, but you can get a sense of how they could animate them through the use of ropes and levers. Now, the ceremony in which this mask was performed is known as the potlatch. Potlatch is a gift-giving feast ceremony to mark special occasions like births, deaths, and weddings. During a potlatch, a host would invite everyone from the community to get together to his feast, and in it he would give gifts to the entire community. It was a way of marking a special occasion, but also a way of demonstrating status and position by showing that you had the wealth and the resources to provide food and presents to everybody in the community. During the potlatch is when these masks would be performed. Now, it'd be a high honor to wear one of these masks. Only one person was allowed to wear each specific mask. So only one person would be allowed to wear this transformation mask. In Kwakwaka'wakw culture, they believe in the concept of a nume. A new mame is a group sharing the same ancestry. You could think of it like a family, but it might not be limited to just bloodlines. And what I mean by that is different family groups that might not be specifically related might all trace their ancestry back to a specific deity. Like you and maybe your neighbor who do not necessarily have the same bloodline might both trace their ancestry back to Kwakwaka'wakw, the Thunderbird deity. That's the new mame. The new mame is a larger familial group that all trace their ancestry back to the same deity. Within the new mame, only one person would be chosen to wear the mask in the potlatch ceremony. So to wear it was a very high honor. Let's talk about the form. This mask is carved out of wood, specifically out of red cedar. Red cedar is a very typical material for the Kwakwaka'wakw people because it's a common tree in the Pacific Northwest. That red cedar sculpture is then painted with a very particular style. You can see the colors and the shapes that are used here are very common to a lot of the artwork of the Pacific Northwest. This is known as formline style. Formline style is the indigenous decorative art of Northwest North America, distinguished by the use of curving oval shapes. Like this, for example. You can see that the head, the body, the wing, the tail, they're all made out of these curving oval shapes in different sizes and different arrangements to construct the figure of this bird. If you look at the inside of the Kwakwaka'wakw transformation mask, you'll see the same kind of shapes repeated here. That's formline style. In fact, if you're a football fan, the Seattle Seahawks logo is a formline style logo, using the same kind of oval shapes, referencing masks like this Kwakwaka'wakw transformation mask. Let's talk about the context. The potlatch is a very important ceremony in the Kwakwaka'wakw culture. It was really highly valued by the Kwakwaka'wakw people. But unfortunately, the potlatch was banned. From 1885 to 1951, it was illegal to perform the potlatch ceremony. The Canadian government banned it. Many Christian groups rallied to have them stopped. The reason for that, well, there's two reasons. For one, many Christians believed that the potlatch was a pagan, almost satanic ceremony. There was a lot of rumors that cannibalism was a part of the potlatch ceremony, that they would eat human flesh. Now, of course, that wasn't true, but it caused many groups to push back against the practice of the potlatch. For the government, they also saw it as something that got in the way of productivity. These potlatch ceremonies could last for days or sometimes weeks, and during that time, the Kwakwaka'wakw people would not be working. And the government saw that as an obstacle to integrating these indigenous people into the larger American or Canadian cultures. So both the Christian religious groups and the government saw a need to ban ceremonies like this as a way of forcing the indigenous population to adopt the practices of American or Canadian culture and leave some of their indigenous practices behind. Now, during that time, a lot of these masks were taken from the Kwakwaka'wakw. A lot of them were destroyed. Some were sold into museums. The one that we're looking at here was taken during this banning and sold into a museum. Now, eventually in the 1950s, that banning of the Kwakwaka'wakw ceremony, of the potlatch ceremony, was seen as unconstitutional and it was overturned. And the Kwakwaka'wakw were able to once again return to their practice of the potlatch.